It began on a night like any other, cold, indifferent, and cloaked in silence. But for one small creature trembling beneath a rusted dumpster in a forgotten alley, it was the night her world ended. She was barely the size of a loaf of bread, matted fur, ribs pressing against paper-thin skin, her eyes wide with a fear too old for such a young soul. No collar, no name, just silence, and the echo of footsteps that never returned. She was abandoned, not lost, not astray by accident. Left, deliberately, cruelly. The rain came later that night, sharp, icy needles slicing through the dark. She curled tighter into herself, trying to disappear, trying to become nothing, so the pain might pass her by. But pain doesn't care how small you make yourself. It finds you anyway. Days blurred, hunger gnawed, hope thinned like smoke in the wind, and then a sound. Not the screech of tires or the bark of a rival dog, but a voice. Soft, steady, human. A woman named Elena had taken the long way home from her night shift at the hospital, a detour she'd never taken before, prompted only by a strange, restless feeling in her chest. She wasn't looking for a dog. She wasn't even an animal person. Not really. But something in that alley pulled her like a magnet. There, beneath the flickering streetlight, she saw those eyes. Not pleading, not begging, just watching. As if to say, if you leave, I'll understand. Everyone else has. Elena knelt. Slowly, carefully. She didn't reach out. She just stayed. For 10 minutes. 20. Until the trembling slowed. Until the dog, still nameless, crawled forward inch by inch and pressed her cold nose into Elena's open palm. That touch changed everything. She named her Juno, after the Roman goddess who saw what others ignored. And Juno, she remembered, not just the dumpster, not just the rain, but the moment someone chose to stay. The road ahead wasn't easy. Juno flinched at sudden movements. She hid under furniture during thunderstorms. She wouldn't eat from a bowl unless Elena sat beside her, her hand resting gently on her back. Trust, once shattered, doesn't rebuild in a day. It rebuilds in moments. Quiet, consistent, patient moments. But then, something shifted. One evening, as Elena sat on the floor, exhausted from a double shift, tears silently tracking down her cheeks, Juno did something unexpected. She climbed into her lap, not for food, not for warmth, but to hold her, to press her small body against Elena's heart and breathe with her, as if to say, you're not alone either. Because Elena had her own wounds, her own abandonment, her own nights spent wondering if she mattered. In saving Juno, she hadn't just given a dog a second chance. She'd given herself one too. Months passed. Seasons turned. Juno grew strong, her coat gleaming, her tail a metronome of joy. She learned to play, to bark at squirrels, to sleep sprawled across Elena's bed like she owned it. And in return, she gave Elena something no therapist, no friend, no family member ever could: unconditional presence. But fate, it seems, wasn't done testing them. One winter morning, Elena collapsed at home, sudden, without warning. A previously undiagnosed heart condition, silent until it wasn't. She lay on the kitchen floor, disoriented, fading in and out of consciousness. Her phone was out of reach. The neighbors were away. But Juno? Juno didn't panic. She didn't whine or pace. She ran to the front door, scratched at the wood, then raced back to Elena, nudging her face with urgent, insistent pushes. When that didn't work, she bolted outside, barking not randomly, but toward the nearest house with its lights on, over and over, until a neighbor finally opened the door. Paramedics arrived within minutes. Elena survived. Later, in the hospital bed, weak but awake, she whispered to the nurse, "My dog, she saved me." And the nurse, smiling softly, replied, "Or maybe you saved each other." Today, Juno walks with a quiet confidence, the kind born not from ease, but from having faced the abyss and found a hand reaching back. She visits hospitals with Elena now, part of a therapy dog program for trauma survivors. Children who flinch at touch learn to trust again because Juno lets them approach at their own pace. Veterans with haunted eyes find peace in the weight of her head resting on their knees. She is no longer the creature under the dumpster, but she never forgets she was. And Elena, She still takes the long way home sometimes, not because she's restless, but because she knows now that sometimes the detours lead you exactly where you're meant to be. In a world that often feels cold, indifferent, and loud, there are still quiet miracles, still second chances, still bonds that defy logic, time, and even species. All it takes is one person willing to stop, to kneel, to stay, and sometimes that's enough to save 2 lives at once. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more videos like this. We'll see you in the next one.